We, of course, never want to count our chickens before they hatch. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and we don't want to just assume that our expectations are going to be met because they might be dashed. But right now, we got a pretty good setup for Tesla for Tesla stock this week, this month, the rest of this year, and for all of time. So we'll see how all that works out. But let's start with this week. And investing.com said it this way. Tesla emerges as the not a the compelling buying opportunity of this week, with multiple catalysts converging that could drive significant upside beyond current market expectations. Tesla closed Friday's session at 440 and 40 cents, well above both its 50-day average and its 200-day average. Pivot point shows near-term resistance at 442.36, with support at 436.17 to 433.90 if you follow all these technical things. The primary catalyst is its upcoming third quarter EV delivery and production report scheduled for Thursday morning, which has the potential to handily beat a relatively low bar set by Wall Street. Analyst consensus from FactSet is still sitting at 448,000 vehicles, which would be a 17% increase from quarter two, but a 3% decline year over year. The 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐲 prediction market, however, is much more optimistic, forecasting a record-breaking 505,000 units. This bullish outlook is driven by consumers likely rushing to capitalize on the $7,500 EV tax credit set to expire on September 30th. So all of that is true. And of course, then fourth quarter, people can still put their order in by September 30th and get their car later on in the fourth quarter. So I'm expecting the fourth quarter to be quite nice as well. They go on to say, beyond the delivery numbers, what could also drive Tesla stock higher are the ongoing developments in its self-driving ambition. CEO Elon Musk announced FSD version 14 will have an early wide release this coming week. Musk has also hinted that Tesla's robotaxis could operate without safety monitors or drivers by the end of the year. It's worth mentioning that Tesla's financial health stands out, as assessed by Investing Pro's AI-backed quantitative methods, with an overall Investing Pro score of 2.67, which is good, supported by strong cash flow and profitability. And so there you go. Tip Ranks has this. Elon Musk's 1 billion share purchase and a potential 1 trillion incentive package proposed by the board of directors certainly contributed to the bullish vibes, while hopes for Tesla's full self-driving ambitions have some investors seeing mega dollar signs in the years to come. While these news flashes reflect sentiment more than fundamentals, in the here and now, there are also signs that the company's upcoming quarter three 2025 EV delivery numbers will surpass expectations. All told, Tesla is up almost 70% for the past 6 months. 6 months. Should savvy investors follow this trend upwards? Not according to investor Johnny Zhang, who thinks that the recent bull run is disconnected from the fundamentals. Quote, we should be careful not to confuse a bullish trend with the idea that Tesla is fundamentally strong. There's a big difference between expectation and speculation, reminds the five-star investor. Addressing the hopeful anticipation of a strong quarter three delivery numbers, Zhang is tamping down all the excitement. He anticipates that the positive surprise will likely be due to pull forward purchases. He would be right about that, and not representing of real growth inflection. Moreover, Zhang notes that Tesla's U.S. market share has now dropped to its lowest point in almost a decade, as competition is heating up from BYD and domestic brands. But what about the AI-inspired gains up ahead? Here too, Zhang counsels caution. The investor points out that we don't know when the AI disruptions will take place, nor do we know how significant they might turn out to be. A reasonable expectation should be centered on data and at least one blockbuster quarter to validate the optimism, emphasizes Zhang. Yeah, and then you miss the opportunity. In addition, it's safe to assume that a decent amount of future growth is already priced in, as Tesla's forward price earnings ratio is 250, and that's extremely stretched, says Zhang. I believe Tesla's a huge bubble with downside risk far greater than upside in the long term, stressed Zhang, who rates Tesla a strong sell. Wall Street is a mixed bag when it comes to Tesla, has 15 buys, 12 holds, and 8 sells. Tesla carries a consensus hold, neutral rating. It's 12-month average target of 341. That would be a drop of a bit from the current levels. It's where, I'm sorry, that'd be like 23% drop. I admit it. So that's it. That's the end of that article. I'm sorry. And then I have an admission to make. I'm sorry. Some of you will go, Randy, what's happened to you? I read an entire Slate article. Yeah. I mean, it had a great headline. I couldn't not look. So I did read it. Well, I kind of sped read it. But anyway, the author did some serious on the ground reporting about Tesla and about Tesla fans. He went to meetings. He went to the breakout. He was, doing all this, really good reporting. And his conclusions were some Tesla fans don't own Teslas and they just love the tech. And some of it are kind of in it just to cash in on the stock and the meme coins. And I would say you had to do all that work to get that? That to me would be a duh. Oh, who am I? I'm Randy Kirk. That's all you need to know, except that it would be nice of you to do all those things you're supposed to do. Like, subscribe, notify, all that jazz. Okay. What's coming up this week? Well, it's, again, this is going to be a really interesting week. It's going to be an interesting week because of the economic information that's coming out, but also because the government might shut down Tuesday night. We might not have a government. Well, we might have a whole bunch of unnecessary things happening on Wednesday. Necessary things happening on Wednesday, but the unnecessary people will go home. Now, if they're not necessary, if they don't fall into the category of being necessary, well, why don't we just fire them? Let's just get rid of those departments. And in fact, that's what Trump is thinking about doing. Well, not all of them, and maybe lots of them. And that's his wedge play right now with although I understand he's meeting. I didn't see what happened on that meeting today, whether the meeting went well with the leadership of the Senate, or maybe that's going to happen tomorrow. In any case, Mr. Trump, President Trump is saying, hey, go ahead, shut down the government. If I don't have a budget to work with on Wednesday, I'm not going to just furlough people. Well, I think a lot of people will be furloughed. They'll just be told they're laid off. But then I think he's going to take that opportunity and fire a bunch of people, not furlough. And that would be, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say hilarious because people will say I'm insensitive, but that would be hilarious in the political sense. All right, so that's a really big deal that's coming up this week. Of course, on Thursday, we do have the Tesla numbers that are going to be hitting. And you'll notice that neither one of those articles that I just read you up above and most of the other articles that you'll read say nothing about energy. They got the two things, cars and robotaxis. Nothing about energy, nothing about Optimus. Well, energy right now, the increase in energy is way bigger than the increase would normally be with regard to cars, or at least it has the potential to be, and I expect it to be this Thursday. And of course, Optimus is way bigger than robotaxi. So when these articles don't say anything about those two, you say, wow, are they even paying attention? All right, so what do we got? I got on Monday, we've got the Federal Reserve, Governor Christopher Waller and Beth Hammack are speaking at various times. We've got also that morning, we've got pending home sales. So these are sales that are not yet completed, but people have put down their offers or whatever. They're in the process. They've been accepted. They're in the process. And then another Atlanta Fed president speaking. Anyway, those are always troubling. I don't think they're going to have much impact this week. Everybody wants to know about the job stuff. So on Tuesday morning, we have the S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index. The world right now is not willing to give their expectation on that. Last month, it was only up 2.1%. I'm going to say it's going to be around that same number. That sounds like a good number to me if you want to write it down, if you want to bookmark that. Then same morning, we get the Chicago Business Barometer. Last month, it was 41.5, a decent number. They think that's going to go up actually to 43. Then we get the JOLTS number, and the JOLTS number last month was 7.2 million. They think it's going to drop down just a little bit to 7.1. I would consider that to be a very good number. Consumer confidence will be coming in as well that morning. That was at 97.4 last month. They think that's going to drop to 95.8. I'm calling that the other way. I'm going to take the overs on that bet. I think it'll be going up, not down, given the way things have been going the last few weeks. All right. On Wednesday, we have ADP employment, 54,000 individuals last month, considered to be a very low number. Okay, let's talk about the numbers. If you haven't heard me already say this, if you have, sorry. If you haven't, well, you need to pay attention, okay? If you pay attention, if you care about the economy, and if you care about that impact on Tesla stock, know that from now on, forget about ADP employment, except for the compensation side. That's very, very important to watch right now. And forget about the national employment numbers, how many new employees are put into the mix. Pay attention to the unemployment numbers. That's all that's going to matter right now, because everybody's going to be very confused by these numbers because you're expecting 170, 225. Well, no, not if you're sending home 2 million individuals who are here illegally, and not instead of bringing in 2 million who are here illegally, and not if you're laying off people from government instead of hiring people in government. It's just not going to happen. And it doesn't mean the economy is going, is troubled. It just means that it's at neutral, all right, at neutral. So what you're going to be looking for is, on Friday, we'll talk about that in a minute, you're going to want, to stay around that 4.1. I'm sorry, it's 4.3 now. You would like it to stay like 4.0 to 4.5. And I don't know where it's going to be, because it's just too difficult to and for anybody to guess that. All right, let's go ahead. Construction spend, ADP employment, they think it'll drop from 54 to about 40,000. I think that would be a fine number. I think it might even be lower. Construction spending at -0.1 last month. They think it'll be -0.2. I got nothing on that one. I got no way to make a judgment either way on that one. S&P final U.S. manufacturing at 52 last time. They're thinking that they aren't willing to make a guess on that. I think manufacturing might stay the same or inch up. And then ISM manufacturing, for some reason, they're willing to guess on this one, going up slightly from 48.7 to 48.9. And that's it's inching up. So that's why I'm saying I think the other one will be inching up as well. Auto sales, that'll be coming in over the week. We'll hear about all the different auto companies. We'll see how that works out. On Thursday, initial jobless claims last time we're at 218,000. That was a shock on the low side. They're thinking it's not going to pop up that much. They think it's going to be 228. But what do I think about what they're thinking? They have no clue. They've been so far off, it makes no sense. So I think it's still going to be, I think this is going to be okay. It could be 228. It could be 220. It could be 240 this week. It's really a guessing game. And right now, I think it'll just be in the range 215 to 240, probably, going forward. One of the big questions to ask is, how fast are people getting new jobs? And I always report that every Thursday. All right, factory orders last month were down 1.3. They're thinking factory orders are going to be up 1.5. So that might be just a reflection of theorizing that this will be kind of a balancing out from the previous month. I'm not sure what they're thinking. All right, now Friday. Now, here's another thing. If the government shuts down on Tuesday night and isn't reopened right away, if it's still closed on Friday, we may not get the employment numbers. In previous situations, we haven't always gotten the business stuff, the numbers that the government puts out. So we're not sure if we're going to get these or not. So last month it was 22,000 for the for the employment number, increased employment. They're thinking that might be as high as 45,000. I wouldn't be surprised at any number between 0 and 70. There you go. Because I don't think anybody knows. I don't think they have any way to really figure it at this point. It's very, very hard to figure this. And not only that, what have we been getting? But these huge adjustments, massive adjustments. All right. So how's this going to work out? I don't know. If it comes in at 45,000, I think if it comes anywhere between what I just said, it comes anywhere between 0 and 70,000. I don't think the market will react. Is that crazy or what? But I think that's right. And it's assuming that we get to see them. All right. We got the U.S. unemployment rate, which last month was 4.3. They think it's going to stay at 4.3. We've got hourly wages. Last month went up by 0.3. They think they're going to go up by 0.3 again, which would be a great number when inflation is at a less than, well, probably about 0.2. So that's saying that we got real wage increases. Unlike under Biden, we're getting consistent real wage increases. We'll see, of course, on Friday if that's the case. And then hourly wages year over year up 3 point. Last month it was up 3.7. They're thinking it'll be up 3.6, which 0.3 per month would average out that anyway. S&P final U.S. services PMI also comes out on Friday. Last month at 53.9. They don't give a guess on that, but the ISM, they do. Once again, it's so weird that they're willing to estimate the ISM, but not the S&P. Anyway, ISM last month was 52. They think it's going to drop a little bit on services, down 51.7. Don't know why that is. I've heard a little bit of kerfuffle around, what do you call it, hotel prices, hotel room prices being down a bit. So maybe people aren't traveling as much right now. October is a phenomenal month to travel. Most people don't travel in October. Did you know that? If you travel in October, you'll get really good rates. You will get really good rooms. You'll get everything's it's phenomenal to travel in October, especially to Hawaii. There's nobody goes to Hawaii in October. All right. So then August and September, we're almost done with September. August and September are supposed to be the two worst months for stocks. But the Trump economy is proving this to be a false situation, at least this year. And so I'm saying, so if the question is, what's going to happen with October? After two amazing months in August and September, are we going to continue to be up? Well, come back for the late show tonight at 7:45. I'm going to talk to you about how I think the economy is going to do over the next month or months. I think you'll like this show. It's kind of based around a Fortune magazine article, I know, but they do some decent reporting. It's just their analysis on the economy is sometimes skewed by their hatred of Trump. So anyway, we'll see what happens in October. All right, now what do we got? We got Trueflation says inflation is at 2.01 on the overnights. They say it is 1.82 on the year over year, and that the PCE equivalent is 2.42. That number's been coming down. We've been around 2% on the other two for a long time now. So what do I think inflation is at? Well, you know, I'm buying Trueflation, and part of that, about 0.4% of that, is tariffs. So that would mean we're already well under 2%, which means the Fed is going to be, as you know, too late. If you didn't hear it yesterday, you'll hear it again tonight. If you didn't hear it yesterday, the Atlanta Fed is now, for the third quarter, their GDP now number is now 3.9%. So what if the economy is growing? What if it turns out that they're right? And the economy, when we get that report later in October, it really comes in at something like 3.5, 3.6, 3.9, 4.0, 4.1. Whoa, would that be crazy or what? Okay, let's take a look at the stocks. We have got, we're starting with here with the 10-year. The 10-year is down 1.3 basis points. All right, 4.174. Obviously still above my 4.15, but it'll get there. It'll get there. Just it's going to happen. Nicely, the 30-year is down even more, down 2.1. These are oh, look here. Just in the time that we've been talking, we've had another drop in the 10-year. It's now down 1.9 basis points, so down to 16.8. I'm telling you, we're going lower. We're going lower. It's got to. I'm not sure that I'm right about this one, but you know, I'm a big bond. I really believe the bonds are running the market right now. We've really got to get those numbers down. All right, we've got the equity futures are all up slightly right now. Dow is 0.09 up, S&P 0.12 up, and the NASDAQ 0.16 up. We have got oil down nicely, 71 cents, back to $65. We've got natural gas down 0.78 at $3.18. When did it jump up way up above $3 again? It must have been on Friday. I didn't notice it. When did it get way above $3 again? That's interesting. All right, we got gold down. We're at down 1050, 3,798. Silver down a little bit, down 41 cents at 46.61, and copper down 0.16%, $4.71. Remember, there's an issue with that mine that had some kind of a landslide or something that messed it up. All right. We've got the dollar mixed, of course, and we got the Bitcoin up 2,771, but that only brings it back to 112,231. And Ethereum is up 3.42% at 4,137. All right, so remember, come on back later tonight. Believe me, you want to come back and see this. It's going to be a great show with regard to the economy. By the way, there was another great show this morning with regard to the economy. If you didn't check it out, go back. I'll put the card up here. Now, there was a lot of Tesla news in there too, but I got a lot of stuff on the economy today because this is going to be super key to how everything works out over the next few weeks. Of course, I believe that Tesla is going to, as you know already, I've already kind of told you, I guess, a few times, but if you haven't been watching the show, we are undoubtedly going to go up above 440 later this week. How much might depend on more analysts coming in and talking about the unit numbers that they think are going to happen. And then do we get the beat on Thursday? If we get the beat on Thursday, we could easily be at 450. Some individuals think that the number is more like a 467 is where we might end up. And I could see that. I could see where we could get to the 465 range before we get to the meeting later in the month. And as we get closer and closer to the meeting, depending on what we know and what we hear and other things that are happening in terms of FSD, in terms of robotaxi, yeah, we could be back to all-time high either before the meeting or slightly after. So that's kind of where I'm sitting on it right now. I think that's all I've got for you right now. Find that card from the meeting earlier today. Don't forget to watch later tonight. I am done, and that's it for now. And it's been great talking to you.